Kevin Costner is best known for blockbusters like Field of Dreams, Dances with Wolves, The Bodyguard, and Hidden Figures. He also starred in TV's Yellowstone from its beginning through the first half of its final season. Beyond acting, Costner has directed films and runs his own production companies. However, a lawsuit filed on May 27, 2025, threatens to put his legacy and business ventures at risk. The lawsuit comes from Devyn LaBella, a stunt double for actress Ella Hunt in Horizon and American Saga. Starting her career as a child actress in Friends, LaBella built a strong reputation in stunt work, with credits in Barbie, The Rookie, Yellow Jackets, and Horizon, the latter of which she claims led to the events in her lawsuit. Today, we'll examine the official complaint against Costner, but first, let's go over the allegations and his defense. LaBella alleges she was pressured into performing an unscripted, violent scene depicting SA, despite industry requirements, and the filming environment was non-private, visible to everyone on set, making the experience even more distressing. LaBella says the incident had a lasting impact on her career and well-being, leading her to file a lawsuit against Costner and Horizon production team. Costner's attorney, Marty, strongly denied the allegations, dismissing the lawsuit as a shakedown with absolutely no merit. As evidence, he released a text message from LaBella thanking those involved and expressing appreciation for the experience. Costner insists the incident was only a rehearsal, not a filmed sequence. He also points to her thumbs up after rehearsing, saying that it signaled she was comfortable proceeding if needed. Singer further characterizes LaBella as a serial accuser, citing her involvement in a past lawsuit against James Franco. LaBella's attorneys dispute this claim, stating that she was not a named plaintiff, only an unnamed participant in a class action settlement, a fact corroborated by the LA Times. Now that we've covered the allegations and Costner's defense, let's examine the complaint. I'll read most of it verbatim, but summarize procedural sections for clarity, displaying any referenced exhibits along the way. This lawsuit discusses sensitive topics, so viewer discretion is advised. If you found this breakdown insightful, support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Now, let's get started. Plaintiff Devyn LaBella, suing defendants Horizon Series 1, Horizon Series 2, Territory Pictures, Kevin Costner, and Does 1 through 10. This is a complaint for damages. 5 claims are in violation of the Fair Employment and Housing Act, those being 1, discrimination, 2, harassment, 3, hostile work environment, number 5, failure to remedy or prevent discrimination and harassment, and 6, retaliation. These are also in violation of California Government Code, as is 4, harassment, and 7, interference with the exercise of civil rights. Lastly, we have 8, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and 9, breach of contract. Introduction. On May 2nd, 2023, plaintiff Devyn LaBella, a female stunt performer, was the victim of a violent, unscripted, unscheduled graphic scene directed by Kevin Costner, owner, chief executive officer, and secretary of Horizon Series, Inc. The impact of this impromptu work demand on Ms. LaBella has been profound, not only upending a career LaBella spent building, but leaving her with permanent trauma that she will be required to address for years to come. LaBella files this action not only for the damages she has sustained, but to address the continued failures at the highest levels of Hollywood production companies to comprehend and address the impacts of performing in explicit and violent scenes and the need for intimacy coordination. The Horizon series is a 4-part film anthology chronicling a 15-year period in the settlement of the American West. The lawlessness of the American West made settlement particularly dangerous for women, who were often subjected to rampant objectification and violence. The films composing the series are written by, produced, directing, and starring Costner. The series set production leadership team consists almost entirely of men, with only one female member who works as a second assistant director. Chapter 1 of the Horizon series was released June 8, 2024. Chapter 2 was originally scheduled to be released on August 16th of 24, but the release was delayed, and as of this filing, no theatrical release has been scheduled. Chapter 3 of the Horizon series is currently in production in Colorado, and Chapter 4 is currently in pre-production. Neither Chapter 3 nor 4 have an announced expected release date. Jurisdiction and venue. To summarize, venue is proper because the plaintiff resides in Los Angeles County. Concerning jurisdiction, while the remote scenes were shot in Utah, the travel coordinator and production financing office that paid for travel expenses are in California. All other persons, entities, including the actors, employees, producers, witnesses, guilds, and unions, are in California and mostly Greater Los Angeles. Any agreements entered occurred in California. Next, we have administrative prerequisites, which are basically the requirements to sue in the state of California for this type of lawsuit. LaBella filed as required in workplace discrimination suits with the California Civil Rights Division and the EEOC in 2024, expanding her complaint to include Costner and other entities by November, and was granted the right to sue defendants on December 11th. The parties include plaintiff Devyn LaBella, a U.S. citizen and resident of LA County, and summarizing the rest, but from what I gather, defendant Horizon series, called Horizon Hereafter, is a parent company of, or an administrative company, overseeing multiple aspects of the Horizon film series, and was formed by Costner. Horizon Series 2 is a production company and the party in which LaBella entered a contract. Territory Pictures is a specialty division of Treehouse Films, a production company. All entities are owned and appear to be principally managed by Kevin Costner in Los Angeles County. Statement of facts. Devyn LaBella. LaBella is a 34-year-old woman who grew up in an Italian-American family in the greater Los Angeles area, where she attended Catholic school and worked from a young age in her family's restaurant. In school, LaBella excelled as a gymnast, taking home 7 California state champion titles after obtaining a BA in psychology from the University of Redlands in 2013. LaBella was drawn back to her work as a gymnast and aerialist and decided to pursue a career in the entertainment industry. Ms. LaBella pivoted from acting to focusing on stunt work and signing with the top specializing stunt agency in 2016. She has worked consistently in stunts for the past several years, successfully competing against longtime veteran stunt women and landing these jobs. In 2020 and 2021, LaBella continued to level up to bigger companies and was increasingly selected for larger stunts in film and popular TV shows. These included Barbie, American Horror Stories, CSI Vegas, The Rookie, Yellow Jackets, American Pie Girls Rule, SWAT, Quantum Leap, 911, and over 81 additional titles. LaBella also achieved an impeccable and commanding reputation for herself. Jeff Barnett, stunt coordinator and member of Stunts Unlimited, has gone on the record stating, quote, I have used Bella a lot. She's the complete gymnast, contortionist, and extremely athletic. Devyn will make any coordinator's job easier. She's very helpful, responsible, and professional. In 2023, LaBella's career path continued to rise. The Horizon production team selected her to perform as Hunt's lead stunt double on her first run for a huge film with one of the biggest actors and directors known, Kevin Costner. As a run, LaBella was cast as lead stunt double for Hunt throughout the duration of the filming process. This was a major opportunity that she knew would lead to more work and features for her. LaBella knew that if she did well, doors would open. She was extremely excited to join the Horizon Saga production, especially knowing there would be 4 films in the franchise and that her coordinator provides talent for all of the projects of Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of the Yellowstone series. Since becoming a stunt woman, LaBella's earnings have increased on a yearly basis. She's also eligible for residuals from television and film releases. Had her career not come to an abrupt halt as a result of the events detailed in this complaint, LaBella's projected income would have been substantially higher in the coming year, especially with major projects in which she had been cast a stunt woman being released, thereby further increasing her visibility and reputation within the industry. Casting as a lead stunt double. Wade Allen, who heads Donut Shop Productions, which is based in Santa Monica, has cast LaBella on prior occasions. Approximately a month before the Horizon 2 series began production, Allen reached out to LaBella in California. As part of the inquiry, Allen requested LaBella's horse experience, availability, and specifications such as LaBella's physical description, measurements, skills, fit, and other assets relevant to the role she would double for. After discussing the role, Allen requested LaBella come to Utah for an audition. This was one of the rarer times that Allen had offered her an opportunity to work outside of Los Angeles. After LaBella auditioned for a stunt role per Allen's request in 2023, Horizon's series production team selected her to perform as lead stunt double for lead actor Ella Hunt throughout the duration of the filming process. Hunt had been cast during pre-production phase of the project in California, in adherence with the guidelines of LA-based SAGAFTRA, to which both Hunt and LaBella belong. Following her successful audition, LaBella entered into the above-referenced SAG Weekly Performer contract with Horizon Series 2 LLC. The agreement consisted of an underlying SAG agreement negotiated by Hunt, as well as a rider signed by LaBella. Together, the documents constitute the entire agreement between the parties, and all of the provisions related to performance by Hunt are applicable as well to LaBella. The agreement provides for specific contractual obligations relating to scenes to be performed by LaBella when auditioning, rehearsing, filming, or handling last-minute requests regarding a nude or semi-nude scene, simulated intimate moments, or other intimate scenes, including the mandatory involvement and presence of an intimacy coordinator. Specifically, SAG-AFTRA prohibits any last-minute requests for nudity or simulated intimacy. Rather, producers must provide at least 48 hours notice before call time to review and or negotiate a rider for nudity or simulated intimacy and obtaining a performer's consent. This applies even when a producer wants to make a change to previously agreed upon scenes. SAG-AFTRA also provides that when there is a scene involving nudity or simulation of intimacy, quote, a performer has the right to bring a professional representative or intimacy coordinator, unquote. Ms. Hunt's contract made that right mandatory, as it required the presence of an intimacy coordinator for all intimate scenes. Intimacy coordinators have been included in contracts negotiated by actresses after decades of top actresses voicing their discomfort in filming intimate scenes without proper consent, and a Me Too movement that shone a vital light on the abuse that can result from a too casual, often male-dominated set. Also, any such scene must be performed on a closed set, meaning only essential employees are permitted on set during the rehearsal or filming of such a scene. This extends to a ban of on-set monitors during rehearsal and production as well. As part of her role as the lead stunt double, LaBella's job was to step in for the actor during physical scenes and to perform the stunt while cameras were rolling. Such scenes are usually rehearsed and choreographed to ensure safety and accuracy. At times, a stunt double will also stand in for the actor briefly prior to filming, but it is not part of the job requirement or description. An intimate scene often requires the use of a stand-in or a body double, who lines up a shot or is just filmed as if they were the lead actor in the scene. However, when an intimate scene also calls for physicality, such as a SA scene, a stunt double is used and the scene is carefully choreographed. LaBella's job has only ever entailed stepping in to occasionally line up a shot, as she has never had to stand in for ad hoc scenes of a graphic nature. The standard in the film and television industry is for all intimacy scenes to have safety protocols outlined and agreed upon in writing well before the shot takes place. Once agreed upon, the protocols regarding intimacy action scenes cannot be added or changed without proper notification to and approval by the performers. Additionally, per the above, Hunt's contract required the presence of an intimacy coordinator for all intimate scenes. This provision held for anyone performing an intimacy scene in place of Hunt, including LaBella. Furthermore, SAGAFTRA and its contracts provide that if a performer refuses to film an intimate scene, producers are allowed to use a body double within the parameters of the original performer's consent. As such, LaBella was entitled to the benefits negotiated by Hunt, and all of the contractual obligations afforded to Hunt applied as well to LaBella. Prior to being selected as a stunt double for Hunt, LaBella had only 2 experiences with intimate scenes. Both occurred on the American Horror Story series, where she was filmed kissing someone in 2 separate episodes over 2 different seasons. Both times, LaBella had an explicit written writer and an intimacy coordinator present, consistent with the above referenced protocols surrounding the filming of intimate scenes. The scripted scene. LaBella arrived on set for the Horizon 2 production on April 11, 2023. The production was set to last until May 12th. For the first several weeks, LaBella professionally performed her stunts without incident. However, this experience changed dramatically. Due to its very physical nature, defendants informed LaBella that she would be doubling for the majority of a scripted, aggressive, and intimate scene against the character's will between Hunt's character Juliet and Sig, played by Douglas Smith, who was cast for the role in Los Angeles, California. The scripted scene was scheduled to be filmed on May 1st. The scene is described on May 1st on the call sheet as Sig wrestles Juliet down to wagon bed, gets on top of her with his hands clamped over her mouth. He snuffs the lantern, tells her to lie down, and rakes at her clothes. The call sheet specifically provides there would be a closed set for the filming of this scene due to the sensitive nature of what was being recorded. The call sheet also only specifies Smith and Hunt and her stunt double, LaBella, would be present. The call sheet does not call for Ivans to be present. As required by the appropriate guidelines and protocols, every movement and sequence was rehearsed multiple times with LaBella's stunt coordinator. Her stunt coordinator, Alan, was told days before the scene was due to be shot. The rehearsal of this choreography was also for the purpose of ensuring that no changes, surprises, or discomfort would occur when it came to the actual shooting of the scene on May 1st. Rehearsals of such scenes are imperative. These sessions are a serious meeting before a shoot to help the actors understand what a scene is going to contain. Moreover, having an intimacy coordinator on set is as important as the rehearsal. It's also a huge help to have any intimacy coordinator because there will always be a certain power imbalance on a set, especially one dominated by men and defined by what they deem comfortable. An intimacy coordinator speaks to the performers before, during, and after an intimate scene is filmed to ensure there are no surprises. They talk through what lighting is most flattering, lay out exactly which body part will be going where, and are constantly checking in to make sure the actors are comfortable. At approximately 7:00 a.m., the morning of the scene, a private director rehearsal took place involving only LaBella, Hunt, Smith, stunt coordinator Alan, and the intimacy coordinator, Ms. Cheney. The rehearsal took place on a stage with only these essentials crew members present. The rehearsal was professional, took place with no onlookers, and methodically walked all the scene participants, especially LaBella, through every step of what would be an aggressive and intimate scene. Later that morning, the scene was filmed. Hunt performed the acting scenes, and LaBella performed the more brutal and forceful parts of the physical action, such as being pushed down, wrestled, having her jacket ripped off of her, and having her hands held down. Ms. Hunt delivered the lines after being pinned down under actor Mr. Smith. They were present together during the shoot. Intimacy coordinator Cheney was also on set to monitor the filming of the inside camera scene in the wagon. The scene wrapped and no issues were noted. However, following the shooting of that scene, Hunt was informed that production still needed an insert shot of her face saying no. It is important to note that this scene required more than one take, and the actors needed to reset and replay the choreographed event more than once. When one take begins, there is a clear direction of action to indicate the scene film recording has begun, followed by a clear direction of cut, indicating that the filming of the take is over. This allows different departments, such as hair, makeup, stunts, and wardrobe, to reset the necessary clothes, hair, and makeup for the next take. These directions also allow a separation for the actors. After each take, Smith and Hunt, or LaBella, in the more physically violent scenes, separated from each other and allowed each other some space to reset themselves physically and mentally. The next take started with each actor at a specific marker. Once the director said action, the rehearsed choreography was performed. This repeated until all takes were completed. The repetitive nature of these scenes further emphasizes the necessity of the exhaustive rehearsals and the choreographing required of the actors prior to filming. Cheney was present for all of the intimate scenes that LaBella acted in Hunt's place on May 1st and addressed any issues that arose. We'll continue reading LaBella's account of the incident and how things developed thereafter. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You can also support the channel by liking and sharing this and other videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.